Hello. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kubernetes 1.23 weekly release team meeting. This is week 5 of the release cycle. Do want to make a note that we are a Kubernetes project and we do abide by the CNCF code of conduct, which boils down to just to be excellent and kind to each other. And this video or this meeting is recorded and posted to YouTube. So with that, I'm going to share the meeting notes here. First off, please sign in here, add your name, your role, and your pronouns as well. I've noticed a few people having issues and they could only comment. So I'm going to take a look to see pretty much anyone who is in the release-team Google group should have the right to edit this. So I did make some changes, just added some emails, but didn't actually remove anyone. So this shouldn't have affected any person, except for one person that did ask for their email to be updated. So I'll take a look. I know Jesse, I saw you commenting. Also Sam, I saw you commenting as well. Mickey, now I see you editing. That was one email I did add, or your additional email as well. And I believe Karen, or no, I think someone else from the release comms as well. So with that, I'm going to start off with intro to myself. My name is Ray Lejano. This is your first time coming to this meeting. I'm the 1.23 release lead. I'm going to ask everyone here who wants to sign in. I'm going to start off with open discussions before we go into the updates. I'm going to start off with James with this GitHub discussion on the release team selection process. James, do you mind giving some context?
Sure. So this is a topic which we discussed at the wider SIG release meeting yesterday. And the decision there was to break this out into a GitHub discussion. So you can see there's a whole lot of text there. I'm not going to read it all to you, but the summary is that I and others feel that the selection process for the release team, release team in general, but in particular release team shadows, could be improved, especially at the scale it is now, where we had in this cycle 185 applicants for about 25 spaces. So what I'm really looking for, and the reason I mention it now, is opinions from people or feedback on the process in general. Obviously, this isn't the only vehicle for feedback. We have the retros as well, which are some of the comments have been rolled into this. But really from anyone, but especially shadow applicants and especially multiple time shadow applicants, if there are any, would absolutely love to have feedback.
All right, thank you, James. Yeah, so I think we actually get better insight from shadows who've applied multiple times, like James mentioned, what that was like and their opinions on what can be improved. James listed out several good bullets here that I'm not going to review, but please take the time, especially for those shadows who have not took several tries to be selected. And also this is out on this link to this discussions on the SIG release channel as well. So it'll be good to even possibly send this out to shadows who haven't been selected after a number of tries as well. Because I know we could always improve on the selection process. With that in mind, it's always very hard to select shadows. As James mentioned, we have a very low number of shadow roles available for release. We had over 180 applicants this time for about 24 shadow spots. So it's always very difficult to select the shadows for a release cycle. Any comments or questions regarding that? All right, and move on to another enhancement issue. So this was actually brought up in a Slack thread, and Grace reminded me last meeting cycle that we should talk about it here as well. So in the CAP, which is a Kubernetes enhancement proposal, there is you select what stage that the enhancement is in, but sometimes enhancements don't go through that stage for a particular release. So several contributors feel like it needs to be revised on how we determine the KEP stages and how KEPs transition into those stages. So there's an enhancement issue with some suggestions here. I do suggest everyone to go over them. Also, if you're not familiar with KEPs itself, we do have under the Kubernetes enhancement repo, there is a little README on KEPs as well, just to take a look into what is a Kubernetes enhancement proposal, what are the required fields, and you could go back and take a look into this enhancement issue to see what is proposed and why contributors prefer something that has a transitional phase in the Kubernetes enhancement proposal. Finding that it hasn't been brought up before, but it is brought up now, and that we should definitely take a look at it, especially going into, since there's a little bit more of a break between 123 and 124 with the holidays, but it might be a good time to start. We may not make the change then, but we could start looking into what changes we can do to improve the enhancement process in the release cycle. So do ask everyone to take a look into this enhancement issue. If you could also do a little more research on your own as well, and to even provide feedback if you would like. Any comments or questions with that? All right. Another topic I have is the first retro. Release retro is now mid-cycle on November 3rd. And we do have a related GitHub discussion on this as well, that we typically have release retros at the end of the cycle. And since this cycle is around the Christmas holiday or the holidays or at the end of the year, it also might be better to have a retro mid-cycle, so we could course correct, the better attendance as well for the stakeholders in the release cycle. So there's multiple benefits of having it. So we did implement this for 1.23. I also have an open pull request as well in the release lead and the Emeritus Advisor handbooks as well to have the first retro during mid-cycle. So this has changed in all the calendars, the release-team Google Calendar, also in the Kubernetes, in the ContribX or the community calendar as well. So it's been changed to the first retro being on November 3. So we are coupling it with the start of the Monday, Wednesday, Friday burn down meetings, which starts this week as well. So so I do advise also with the release retros to add in your any topics you would like to discuss. There's a link up here. I'm not going to go all the way to the top, but there is a link to the top at the top of the meeting notes to add in any discussion topics for the release retro. All right. Any comments or questions with that? Actually, the link is right here. Any other open discussion topics anyone wants to bring up? All right, we'll move on to the team updates, starting off with enhancements.
Yeah, ours today is pretty straightforward. Largely the same as last week. We're green. There were 2 exception requests that were filed and approved, but aside from that, the numbers haven't changed from enhancements free. So we're tracking 57 right now, and we're kind of in the chill period of the release for us now. So I think we will start following up with enhancement owners for code freeze. I'm thinking probably 2 weeks before the Monday that closest aligns with 2 weeks before code freeze is when we'll start following up on that. But yeah, aside from that, everything's good on our end.
Cool, thank you. I'm also with that. We'll also send out another email to the community in late October-ish with also another call for exceptions as well. So, all right, any comments or questions for Xander or the enhancements team? All right, next up is CI Signal. Leonard.
Yeah, hello everyone. So our current status is yellow. We have 3 flaking tests, 10 flaking ones in master informing and 2 failing ones. one of the master informing failing ones is there's no issue open on GitHub, but this is open for a couple of weeks now or so. And it seems like this is a bit abandoned or not picked up. But this is causing a failure for the last days or weeks now. So I don't know if we should ping SIG node again or so. But this should be the team which is responsible for the failure. Then something else. So the CI signal guys, one of us basically had the idea that we could mention in the issue templates that we reference SIGs, basically. So if we open an issue, that we also should tag directly SIG node or something else. This would be something maybe that we could change. And then the next point and last point is that currently we are using a tool which is not at the moment part of the Kubernetes project, but we use it basically every week to generate those reports that you can also see in the release CI signal group on Slack. And there's also already an issue open on Kubernetes to migrate this tool to Kubernetes, and we would like to further enhance this tool and maybe automate this process of sending reports and in general just updating the tool, make it better, enhance it, and so on. Yeah, this is.
All right. Do you need any additional supports in terms of updating the GitHub issue templates or enhancing the tool to further automate weekly reports?
So I guess if it's okay to update the template, we would get in contact. I don't know. I would
for the
template.
I've received like Hossein's LGTM on my PR. Do I need to like bring this up to SIG release or contributor experience? Because like for the final approval.
I'll have to check the owners for this repo. So this is in KK.
Owners would be contributor experience.
Yeah, see Paris. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it would. From when I've updated templates as well, the only thing that there was really no way to test until you merge. Not that I know, and until you actually merge it and you test with the template, or when you create an issue, then you'll see. Then you'll use that in your template. Yeah, I would ping Contribx. It looks like Allison and Paris are the reviewers mentioned here. And could take a look, and they could take a look in that.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, if you need help pinging them, I could help ping them as well. How about do you need any additional help to migrate the CI signal reporting tool or any enhancements on that tool?
I think not for now. Max Korbech has also he raised this issue a couple of months ago, and we pinged the owner of the repository, and we are waiting basically for more info.
Okay, cool. Do you have a question on these two failing tests? Since Adolfo is here, so Adolfo is one of the release managers. How deep do you go into failures and master informing before you cut like an alpha, beta, or before you cut the release?
So I usually try to board the test in three ways. So first, is it something I can understand? If I see some clear indication that it may be something like a delicate matter, I try to escalate it to other folks that may know more than me. Then whenever I'm doing the release manager role myself, I always try to depend on the insight of the CI signal team. And if needed, I then go to the actual SIG that's handling, try to get an opinion. But that's like a personal style. I mean, for me.
Maybe I can give like more info, regarding that container, the failing test. It was flaking for a while, and then Signal like said, yeah, it's flaking, so it's gonna be resolved. But then now it's failing like continuously. So I think we need their support. I will try to reach out to Signal again and continue the topic with them. But it's great that they have also some eyes on those issues.
Thank you. Let us know if you need help pinging Signode for that container D issue or the other failing job as well.
Yep.
Or master inform.
Sure. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Delpho. Any comments or questions for CI Signal? All right. Moving on to bug triage with GOT.
Hi. So Christoph is not here today, so I'll be trying to give the report. The status is green. So when we say green, it means no blocking issues and PRs, no critical things. So they're all 0. There have been an uptick in the number of issues in general. So it's 32 now, you see. Last week it was probably 28 or something. So yeah, nothing out of the line there. The members of the team have started following up on the issues and the PRs, asking like, is something which can be solved or not, trying to engage on the issues. So yeah, that's all.
Cool. All right, thank you. Glad there's no release blocking issues or blocking PRs currently. So, all right, any comments or questions for bug triage or GOT? All right, next is docs with Date.
So we are green in docs. Our integration branch for the website is healthy. One of the things that we're looking at this week are the none requireds set of issues, just to confirm that they in fact do not need documentation. And we are continuing to post nudges and whatnot on the placeholder for the placeholder PR. So you may see us in your issues to say, please kindly open placeholder PRs.
Yeah, I did see that, and thank you for that. Because since October is a little bit quiet, but we do have KubeCon quiet in terms of milestones for the release, and all of the docs related milestones are going to be around US Thanksgiving, and the release is right there, first week of December. So I did add that to my state of the release email to please start early. So we should watch out for that. All right, any comments or questions for docs or Nate? All right, release notes with CC or Sam.
Yes, Sam. CC's not here, so I'll pick that up. Yeah, we are green as well. Nothing terribly exciting. So the PR for the Alpha 2 release notes has just been merged just now. We need to do the release note website one, which I'll be doing shortly. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, great. Did see that's merged. I do have now rights to review those PRs for the website release notes. So feel free to ping me if you need a review.
Great.
Any comments or questions for release notes or Sam? Sam, I did ping you on Slack just to saw you were only able to make comments, and I'll check again just to make sure you're on the release team Google group.
Thanks.
All right, next up is comms with Karen.
Hey, we are green. We are still waiting for people to drop in their blog opt-ins, but no one's responded. So I'm going to have my team go and reach out to this week and just remind them that they can do that. And then I will be working with my team to reach out to CNCF to schedule the release webinar. So that's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. And I think as part of the lead group, myself and the lead shadows, we could also take a look at the enhancements and see what would be good for a feature blog. I know SIGDocs they've asked for a feature blog on the pod security mission controller going to go for that status updates. I know we had an alpha blog for it when it went to alpha last release, but they suggested another one since now it will be automated on, since it's the next phase of the cycle or of the enhancements. Also, we know the dual stack is also a big one that is targeted going to stable. So that one might also be a great feature blog. So I will reach out with myself and the lead shadows to take a look to identify which enhancements will be good feature blocks for 123.
Thanks.
All right. Any comments or questions for comms or Karen? All right, next up is release branch management. I think Veronica, you are on the call.
Hello. Well, sorry, I don't have a. I'm trying to. Yeah, sorry. I was trying to open the doc and I can't. I don't have the status. Sorry, I thought that someone else was taking care of this, so apologies today.
That's okay. I did see that 123 Alpha 2 was cut last week, and Alpha 3 is going to be scheduled to cut for next week.
But I'll add the status
Okay.
right after the meeting.
Great. All right. Thank you, Veronica. I'll also make sure that you have the rights to edit as well. You and Nabrin.
Yeah, I do. I just put my name here. So I think it's just my computer right now.
Hey, can I add something?
Yeah.
So for next week's release, we haven't yet sent the open call to the other release managers to see who's going to be taking charge of the pre-releases. But as we were starting the cycle, Arnold Newcomb, he volunteered to cut the Alpha 3 version. So even when we don't have the complete roster for the next pre-releases, he will be taking, well, I have to get double check with him, but he offered to take care of Alpha 3.
Cool. Thank you. And thank you, Arnold, for taking care of Alpha 3. All right, moving on. Don't see Jeremy on the call. I know he had another appointment. So Jeremy, the emeritus lead, he updated the doc that he will reach out to folks who were not able to do the shadow orientation. Last call. Look, see the roster, see if Jeremy's on. Don't see him. All right, time for my updates. Like I mentioned, Alpha 3 is scheduled for next Tuesday, September 28th. And like Adolfo mentioned, Arno will cut that or volunteered to do that. Last Friday, I sent a state of the release email. Included, there's a link for that here as well. That was sent to a number of Kubernetes Google groups like HeyDev, Leads, and a few others as well. Just to make sure that the whole community is aware of the states of 1.23 with the enhancement status. Included was a call for exceptions. We're tracking 57 enhancements with 2 exceptions. In it, there was also a, let me just click on this link. There was also a call for feature blogs as well with the link to the tracking sheet. And Leads have the ability to enter feature blogs as well. And I think all others should be able to comment. Also with that as well as, like I mentioned before, how the docs placeholder PR, all the docs deadlines itself are around the US holidays. I did make a call for that just to start work earlier as well. And also made a note that there's a change in the first release retros now on November 3. With that, a few other updates, the APAC friendly meeting will be scheduled. I'm gonna meet or talk with the lead shadows as well on what that time should be. The doodle ended last Friday, so that'll be scheduled for next week. And since October, there's no release milestone, so this gives us some time for those who do have time to look back into some action items from the 122 retro. So you'll probably see me ping certain people, any like role leads, just to make sure that they've, if they have action items from the 122 retro, just to complete those action items. With that as well, do you want to call to add feedback for the release team selection process and the GitHub discussion that James mentioned as well? And I think it's actually more beneficial for those, for shadows to add their feedback, and for anyone who had to go through multiple application process to be selected, just to add their feedback and to have any suggestions as well. Also at this time, since October, besides KubeCon, it's kind of like the quiet before the storm. I do ask for role leads and for shadows to refine their respective handbooks as well. This is actually great for shadows, because they give us this new fresh eyes to look at what the handbooks, and if there's anything that's unclear or anything that's missing, please make a pull request to the handbook as well. So yeah, so that's it for my updates. Other than that, any comments or questions? All right, last one is SIG scalability. I pinged them yesterday and all tests are green. So with that, I'm going to stop the recording.